Hello and welcome to episode 12 now. Yes, 12 of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. We are coming off of the Lucas Glover double, back-to-back weeks for the glove man. He is on a roll for someone in the ripe age of, 40 now? 41? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he won a major in 2009 at Bethpage Black U.S. Open.
So he's old,
Um,
basically. He's old, but I think our biggest talking point is um, I think we all agree that he was sweating through those pants. I don't know how else to put it besides that. One of my favorite Twitter accounts, Monday Q Info. Great follow if you ever want to learn more about, the grind getting towards the PGA Tour. Said that somehow Cantlay's ball was wetter than Glover's pants yesterday, which is true. Somehow, I mean, that man he was profusely sweating, and he tried everything possible, and he made it happen. So, yeah,
I can't hate on someone who that might happen to me today at the Barstool Classic. Um,
correct.
I hope not. I'm sure it won't be as hot probably as we've been outside already today. So, yeah, this is the first Bunker to Bunker pod not in New York or PA. This is in Boston.
Uh-huh.
Or not Boston, Rhode Island province, however you want to say. But yeah, the podcast has
Yeah,
gone global across the country. So
we're on the road now. We're on the road. So welcome to the journey. We're now a traveling podcast now, which is fun. But why don't we as I said, let's hop into the big story. We are coming off of um Glover's double, but I think you have some exciting news to share for all the listeners out there.
we're gonna break it. Yeah, let's just break it here. So I guess and I guess the podcast consider the golf grid boys. I guess that's what some people tell me. And we are. I've been posting grids, making them on Google Docs, just by my own brain, just doing them, not automated like the macro grids, NBA crossover grids that are online that you can like filter. It's just way easier than the old school method.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually was collaborating with the NBA crossover grid website, which I think is one or two of the best grid sites we have, most popular grid sites on social media. And they asked me to help build this golf grid online. So it'll look very similar to like the baseball grids, the NBA grids, soccer grids, hockey, whatever sport that we're trying to grow. So excited to collaborate. Was in talks with them yesterday about different columns and different ways that you can think about players and like OWGR wins, top fives at majors certain years. So trying to get very creative. So we're launching that I think today or tomorrow, hopefully before Thursday. So stay tuned for that. I honestly think this will blow up. I'm not just saying that just
Yeah.
to ourselves up. I think there is a room for trivia in every sport, and golf, the content is growing. I've gotten some messages back from some people in the space that I've reached out to, and they say that they love this, and it's something that is missing. So,
Well, let's
stay tuned.
clap it up. Good
So,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give myself much credit because I don't know how to code or anything. So, this is the NBA Crossover Grid website for, I guess, stumbling upon my profile and automating this process in a database and kind of using me as someone who is in the space, kind of maybe like the creative mind for more of the golf and kind of see what the golf
Mm-hmm.
people want. So, yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna blow up. Hopefully, we're gonna try to spread the word at least today at the Barstool Classic today because that's the fans. So that
Yeah,
is our major breaking news, which I think it's pretty big for us and the golf community.
yeah, that's fun stuff. Hitting new levels already, which is always great to see. But let's hop into the golf. Enough talk about the non-golf, or I guess the golf related. But yeah, so back to back years we have had a playoff in the On a blank, the FedEx St. Jude. Last year we had Sepp Straka and Will Zalatoris, famously both hitting it on the water on the par three, and yeah, a double bogey ended up winning that playoff hole. But we had another playoff hole, another playoff yesterday with Cantlay and Lucas Glover. Cantlay hit it to the left off the tee, dunked it in the water. Or as the people at the bar we were watching at yesterday screamed out loud, I dunked it in the water! And they were screaming and proceedingly got kicked out later. So anyway, he dunked it in the water. Glover just played steady golf, and Cantlay missed the putt, and Glover is back-to-back champions. And apparently he has earned more money in the past 2 weeks than he has from 2012 to 2018. So, with all that being said, what are your thoughts on the entire situation?
Uh, this tournament, I forget what the winning score was, but it's tournament and course has had some theatrics the last couple of years. So I think this course is a good first leg of like the playoffs to get people kind of entertained going into the BMW and then the Tour Championship. So I think from that standpoint, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Cantlay is kind of like Mr. Playoffs. I feel like I know he's been back to back at the BMW Championship. So we'll get into him when we talk about the BMW. But like golf just remains undefeated. Like whether sport has a
Yeah.
guy who kind of won major champion in '09 and is like 40ish years old and then beats everyone in the field with the likes of Rory, Hovland, Cantlay, Spieth, Fleetwood, Scheffler, like all these big names, like the top 70 players that we have in the game right now. So that's just the uniqueness of golf. And Glover now is fourth in like the FedEx Cup. I think he jumped 45 spots to fourth. He's just hot. He's the hottest player in the world right now. He gained 6.5 strokes tee to green and 3 putting. So I think ever since
Mm-hmm.
he changed his putter, he's won twice and has multiple top fives. So that is kind of his MO. He's ball striking and making putts. So
Yeah.
it would be interesting to kind of see what his odds are for the BMW. Um, so it's definitely it's a cool story.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into more with Glover about what this means for the Ryder Cup, but I
I'm
guess
gonna
I
I'm
can.
gonna stop you for a second. Glover's odds are 28 to 1. He has better odds than Tony Finau, Hideki Matsuyama, Wyndham Clark, Tom Kim, Sung Jae, Matt Fitzpatrick, Cameron Young. Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
can you see me still or no?
No. But that's probably a good thing, I guess. So we can just keep gunning away. Um, let's see. So yeah, you're Glover took care of business. Um, you were posting a lot about Spieth, who I know you bet on this week, and who you were kind of freaking out about if he's going to win or not. So do you have anything to talk about his performance, kind of how he played, kind of what I know we didn't watch much of Sunday because we were traveling, but what was the cause of him not getting the job done after being in contention the entire week?
I I think he had. I forget it was Thursday or Friday. I think he had another Greller moment where Greller told him to not do this, and then he did it. And I
Uh
think
huh.
he might have pulled one of them, and I think he went like 50% on the ones that I saw that he or they both disagreed, and he went 50-50 on. I know he went in the
Yeah.
bunk in the water for one of them, and then one he was on like the edge of like the bunker and like hit it over the green. But he hit a lot of water balls, so it's kind of the classic Spieth. He's in contention and just is either way aggressive and kind of his ego kind of takes in. So,
Mm,
uh, I think it's a good sign. I think he's been struggling a little bit. And, if you want to be like the nerd and look at his strokes gained, they haven't been up to par probably this year. He's been probably in like the wrong direction, but I think this is good form um, for him. and it was exciting. I actually live bet him. I didn't bet him pre-tournament, so I
Mm.
saw that he
Yeah.
was making some bursts. He was like plus 1,800, and I like boosted him on like DraftKings just to. I was like, I gotta get in on the Spieth next win. So not enough money to ever be actually mad about. So because we
Mhm.
gamble responsibly on this podcast. So call 1-800-GAMBLER if you don't. Um, but yeah, no, but yeah. So like Spieth, we had like Fleetwood who was in it, who hasn't won on the PGA Tour. Like on tour, he's won other events, but Rory makes a charge. He's in form. We'll get into him later. Homa makes a charge. Hovland goes from over par the first round and shoots up like the best score in round two, which we'll get into too later. But so I guess he's with the no cut events, you get these guys that just go up and down very drastically because there's no cut. So
Mm.
I would actually like to ask what's like the mindset for players in a no cut event
Yeah.
if there's changes. I know Kepka I think has been on and Morikawa has kind of said that they like early on just try to make cuts just to make money, and at a certain point you
Mhm.
have to kind of change the mindset of how aggressive you want to be, and they have both won recently. So I guess since we're on this no cut topic, I know that next year is going to look different with a lot of no cut events. Besides, like I think Tigers tournament, Genesis, and the Memorial, and maybe a couple others. But how do you feel about these no cut events that are kind of staying? I guess it makes sense for like the playoffs, but overall, no cut events for more events this year. How do you feel?
I don't like it. I don't think many people do like it. I think that no cut events are just not that great. To be brutally honest, I think that you should have, the best golf of the week should not be beating 70 people, or in Liv's term, should not be beating 47 people. He should be beating the full field 156. And I think that it kind of takes, first of all, it takes away the fun of a Friday afternoon cut sweat. That is always the most entertaining part of everyone's Friday. So that is now no longer a thing. But I don't love it. And also just to totally, we don't know the answer, but all right, so if it's going to be no cut, well, we're not going to put 156 players in the field and not cut a single one of them. That's not financially stable for the PGA Tour to do. So I guess that means it's going to be fields of 78 or 80. Okay, well then how do we, get those fields? There's gosh, with special exemptions, probably upwards of 300 people who could technically play in a PGA Tour event next year. So like how does that happen? Is there a Monday qualifier they only need to play in? It seems like unfortunately the people who are stuck in this, okay, like they switched the FedEx Cup from top 125 to top 70. It seems like the people who are in that like 71 to like 200 in the FedEx Cup standings range are getting absolutely screwed because I mean if they're going by points, if they're going to go by results in X event, well then they're not going to get it, but they rightfully have some status on the PGA Tour, whether it be conditional, temporary, medical, something like that. Well, it just it makes no sense. It is the honest answer. So
Well, well, now like with I think like the fall swing, like they used to count for
it
FedEx Cup
doesn't
points.
count.
They
Yeah,
don't now. So like
it's I
the
don't
only
know.
incentive for players to play are like the tier of like the Nick Hardys, the guys that have either won once, have their, like the Ben Griffin tier. I don't know what in the OWGR they are,
Uh-huh.
but that's the only sense for them just to keep making money, improving their game. It's so I don't know. It's the tour isn't a complete mess. It's a carousel of just every day. I could wake up tomorrow and Rory's playing for the High Flyers with Phil, or Phil is now playing on tour. It's like no one knows. But
Hmm.
I guess the players get their money, so I guess that's really what kind of sports. It's a whole business, but um, I want to kind of recap the biggest movers in the FedEx Cup. I'm gonna start with the trivia question.
Yeah.
Who the longest active streak of making the Tour Championship? So that's top 30 in the FedEx Cup. The streak is nine
Hmm.
seasons, and it potentially could be 10 after the BMW. What is your final answer?
So, I'm assuming this is a big name player because it wouldn't be without it. Um, it's not Rory, it's not Rom, um, not Jordan. Um, is it Hideki?
Yeah, I also put it in there for you too. Or
That was terrible acting, but I was really trying to sell
yeah,
it.
like the PJ Tour communications site put that on Twitter. So
Yeah,
I just got
I saw it. So again, I do not have a future in acting, but I tried my best there.
yeah, the people who
um,
before this people Ethan wanted me to give him the actual answer before the trivia question for him to make himself look good. So, but yeah, I mean let's go on the fact that's pretty impressive because I think JT had a streak. I think of well, what was his year? 2015 was his best year, or
I
no,
think so. Yeah.
2016. I think it was like I
Hmm.
think he had the longest streak, or the second after the longest streak, and offset was broken. So
Yeah.
shout out Hideki. But the biggest FedEx Cup movers are Glover up 45 spots to fourth. Fleetwood moves up 16 spots to 10th. Taylor Moore was having a great year, moves up 11 spots to 14th, and then Hideki moves up 10 spots into 47. So he slides in the top 50. So he's going to need a good week to keep that streak alive. So I love to see these like interesting facts in history. So I'll be cheering for Hideki this week. But I also wanted to give a shout out to my man Nick Hardy again, friend of the program. He finished 52nd in the FedEx Cup, so outside the top 50 cut line. He was the first round leader, or up there with Spieth round one, and then took a double on 18 and kind of went south from there. But he had a very emotional post game interview about how he loves competing out on tour. He loves like the grind of just improving each day. And he's from Chicago, where the BMW is next year. So he kind of said that he already had a flight booked back home, regardless of if he makes it or not. So he grew up in that area, family from that, still in the area too. So for someone that Hardy somehow responds to my DMs after last year, I enjoyed betting on him. He actually liked my message this morning. I thought it was very moving. I told him that. So we'll have him on as we said to kind of recap everything of his year of winning the Zurich and also finishing 52nd. I know I'll be excited to watch him in the fall series and beyond, but kind of sucks for the hometown kid. But
Hmm.
it's just obstacles in life to get better. So um, let's. I'll keep talking into like the Ryder Cup. It's the $1 million question, Captain
Yeah.
Ethan. Is the glove in or not? You have 5 seconds. Just off the top of your head. What do you think? No
No.
ifs, ands, or
No.
wow.
And
All
here's
right.
why.
Glove. You're off. You're off the team.
Yeah, he's off. Let me preface, and I don't know if this is the best reason, but um, I kind of believe that it should be more of a yes. Recent form is extremely important. I'm not saying you should pick someone who is struggling going into the event, but I think you should look at like holistically how they performed over the year. Have they been consistently in the top 20, the top 10, top five, win, stuff like that? And we're just talking about someone who's just had really two good back to back weeks. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, he has to make the team now. Well, no, let's back up a little bit. 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't even said he's remotely close. And now he has two really good weeks. And now he's like, he absolutely needs to be on it. So my case is you should look at more of a holistic year performance rather than just a 2 week sample.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but also Ryder Cup it's so political in the golf
Mm-hmm.
space that honestly, it's like life. If
Yeah.
you don't know people who are going to be there, if you're not friends with them, 'cause it's a team game.
Mm-hmm.
We, the United States, have had terrible culture. That's why the Europeans every year have less talent than us, but they have better culture. They know each other the best. And that was a problem because of Tiger and Phil were the two biggest egos in golf. Who, I mean, I would probably say mainly Phil, that they just basically competed to be like the star of the team, and they just couldn't get it done. Now we're in this era of these Americans have been playing together on the AJ or AJGA, you know, in Florida tournaments, Texas golf tournaments. All these kids are in the same area, LA. So they've grown up together, competed together in college, on tour. They stay at like each other's houses. So I think the culture is changing. That I don't think Glover should be on the team. Hey, if he wins
Hmm.
the BMW or it's like top five, then yeah, put him on. I need to see it for another week, but I just think that we're so talented that I think that they are going to go with the friends and family side of it, especially with Zach
Hmm.
Johnson, who is younger, who has been with these guys, kind of seen them flourish, I guess. And I think the Spieths of the world and the Schefflers of the world, Cantlay and Xander, I think they kind of run it and have say, and I don't think they're going to want Glover on the team, even though I think he deserves to make it. But
Hmm.
and I was kind of thinking about this last night, and I saw Patrick McDonald shout out, also a friend of the program, who he tweeted the same thought I think everyone's having. But if you go back to the 2020, 2021 Ryder Cup, however, whatever year you want to say, no, that was the best team ever based on OWGR ranking and the biggest margin of victory in the Ryder Cup. I remember post game, everyone's like, we should run like this same team back. And now
Hmm.
we're potentially going to have Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, and Lucas Glover on this team. Most
Hmm.
likely, no JT, no DJ, Finau. Bryson was on that team. Sam Burns. Like, these guys are, like, make the tour. So it's pretty funny 2 years later and how much volatility the Ryder Cup is with
Oh, of
everything. And
course.
then, Fowler's back
Hmm.
now. He's a lock to make the team. Keegan Bradley now is, he might make the team too. So it's crazy to see that we've come to this. And I'm looking at the odds, and I don't know, like, it's hard. I'm not gonna bet the Ryder Cup, but like I don't know. I feel like the Europeans are kind of rounding the form more than us, even though like Spieth and Homa played well this week. So it's definitely a good conversation to have in the coming weeks. So it definitely is better content for us to do a Ryder Cup podcast and kind of deep dive into every player and how they fit with Marcus Simone and stuff. So
Hmm.
things are heating up, Ethan. Things are heating up, and
They are. They
going
are.
into the BMW Championship, where actually I forgot I'm wearing the BMW Championship hat. It was at 100 Club last year, which shout out my brother Justin and Evan Peterson. They got me this hat. So two other
Hmm.
friends, family of the program. So do you want to kind of do you want me to deep dive into the course preview, or how you want to do it?
I like hearing your voice, so why don't you go?
Oh, you sound like my father and mother when I call home from college. They love to hear my voice, and my grandmother. So BMW Championship, it rotates every year. So we're back at Olympia Fields in Chicago, very historic course. It was the home of the BMW in 2020. The par 70, 7,400 yards ish. That's what they played in 2020. Rom beat out DJ in a playoff, and the final score was
Hmm.
-4. So I was doing some reading. The course has pretty tough greens, a lot of undulations and stuff, and it's a ball strikers course. So heavy off the tee and approach players I am looking for this week if the score is like -4, -5 in that range. So it'll be interesting to see. We're recording this Monday morning, so it'll be interesting to see what the analysts say about if it's going to play that tough. I am not sure, but I just want to put that of note if you're kind of looking at guys who play well in harder courses and easier courses. So seems like a course that um, the second round of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and it's a hard course. So I think it's pretty fitting to see who belongs in the top 30 for the Tour Championship if this is a hard course. And it's good that we go back to Chicago, which obviously is one of the biggest cities, and I think hopefully gets a good crowd.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always, I remember, geez, last time it was there, no, it was, gosh, who made the putt? It was the playoff. It was COVID. There weren't that many fans there. It's either Rom or DJ who made like the 90-foot putt.
Um,
Rom.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I'm with DJ.
Um, yeah. So no, it's gonna be an exciting week, and it's gonna be cool. Seeing. I'm always for carnage, seeing players not necessarily struggle, but playing difficult courses where, one or two under is a very good score. So,
It, it's also of note. It's the tournament that so the BMW Championship always sponsors the J Wood Platt Evans
hmm
Scholars. So the caddies. I wasn't fortunate to be kind of get like that scholarship on caddying, but I know a lot of people
uh-huh.
from Penn State because Penn State's a big. They have like a house on campus that is just all like the caddies who are on scholarship. So I've been caddying for the last like 7 8 years, so I'm very
hmm
familiar with that program, and so are you with the Gap and your club. But it's cool because I think on Wednesday, like they like bring out all the caddies on scholarship and they caddy for people, and I'm pretty sure I forget some of my friends who they had, but I know someone from Lanark Country Club had Rory in the practice round, which is which is just insane. Like imagine just
hmm
carrying Rory's back for 9 holes and getting to pick his brain on just anything, life, golf, you know, investing, finance, like this is one of the bigger names in golf. So I think that's pretty cool for these guys, guys and girls, who are fortunate to get the scholarship, and so I'm sure I'll see on social media all the caddies that I follow, who they
hmm
have on their bag. So kind of jealous I don't have didn't get the scholarship and that opportunity, but
hmm
I'll give a shout out to the J Wood Platt and Evans scholars.
Yeah.
So
Let's I'll hop into some player spotlights. Um,
go for it.
so I'll start with the man Rory McIlroy. Coming off another week that he's right in the mix. He has, you know, had success at BMW championships in the past. He, earlier on, I guess last week during the St. Jude, testing out a new putter, switching between, gosh, what was it? It was a mallet and something else, but testing out the new putter and actually gained strokes putting this week. So hopefully that putter stays in the bag. But again, he was having a great approach week. He's always one of the best ball strikers out there, one of probably the best driver of the golf ball in the world. Um, so yeah, I mean, he's thrown out 8 straight top tens on tour. His high finishes, his consistent play, the form, it all seems to be a really good combination. And I always like Rory at courses that can be a little tougher because he can be that person who doesn't go out there and make a six or a seven or take himself out of contention. He's very consistent. Is it? And if he makes a mistake, you're looking at really only a bogey or nothing really worse than that. So I
Yeah.
think Rory is going to be a very very good play this week. In all honesty.
Surprised that the maybe since I haven't really been on my phone much the last couple of days, but
hmm
I feel like when Scheffler went on his run, it ended at the Open Championship, but whatever the one of like top tens. Rory has 8 straight top tens, as you just said. I don't really see
hmm
many people. I've hated on people that just tweet about Rory and everything when he has these majors, but I think I'm surprised that no one has really kind of thrown this stat out that he's 8 straight top tens, which is Scheffler like. So I've hated on those people, but Rory is kind of quietly doing it. I feel like he only gets the major love when he's at majors, and
hmm
he loves BMW as you just said. So, and he won the Tour Championship last year. So, it's crunch time, and it looks like Rory might have found something with that putter, as you just said. But my player spotlight is Victor Hovland. He's one of the best ball strikers on tour. He lost strokes off the tee. He lost 2.5 for the first time since Kapalua in January, and he hasn't lost consecutive strokes off the tee in tournaments within like a month or so span since 2020. So a guy who hit it well, putted well around the green, played well. Everything was well besides his driver. So I
hmm
want to bet on him that he won't lose strokes again off the tee. So I like his upside, and it looks like he found his game again. He's been struggling the last couple of weeks, but I do think that this is a course where I think the harder the course is and more emphasis on ball striking, especially off the tee, that's a course that Hovland excels at. So I like Victor
Yeah.
Hovland and his upside this week.
hmm
Um,
Um,
and he is my one and done play. So we've been holding this crown jewel for a while. Like
Hmm.
we didn't take
Hmm.
him at any majors or the Memorial or anything, or even this week. So we are putting everything in Victor Hovland's hands. So, Victor, if you're listening to this, do your thing.
To your thing. Um, I don't want to talk about the next person because I don't like him. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say quickly. We talked about Catley, but he's the back-to-back champion of the BMW, so I think it'd be pretty silly of us not to talk about it. And I don't know if he has a sponsorship by BMW, but he deserves one. But we saw that he lost to Glover at St. Jude. He is one of the best ball strikers on tour. That's nothing that anyone has not heard. He's third in the field in strokes gained off the tee this year, and he was
Uh-huh.
212 in 2020 at Olympia Fields. So, and he did that losing 5 strokes from approach. So, I would bet that that does not happen again at Olympia Fields.
Uh-huh.
So, I think he might be the most popular play this week. So, it'll be interesting to see DFS wise for those people, the betting movement on where Cantlay's number actually ends up Thursday morning. So let's go into some sleepers that I think we've been doing pretty well with these sleepers. So I'm going to hand the baton off to you to go into one of your sleepers.
Yeah, so one of the two sleepers that we would like to highlight would be Cam Davis. It seems like we talk about him a lot in this sleeper category, but he does continuously seem to be a good type of player to target. He hits the ball very far. Um, he's actually had three straight top tens in his last three starts, which it's kind of crazy that someone that consistent is still in this sleeper range, but it is smart to kind of target someone who is playing very well and who um, is playing consistent golf in a no cut event. Not someone who's struggling and they're going to have to suddenly revert and turning around. First of all, it's going to be weird having 50 players in a no cut event. This is going to be very strange. I didn't mention that earlier. It's still going to be very strange. Anyway, um, he's been very good ball striking recently. As I said, just great form going into it. I think overall he's probably one of the better, if not the best sleeper that you could probably go after and target this week.
Yeah, I've bet him a lot, top 40, um,
Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, these no-cut events, you can't bet finishing positions, so it'll be interesting to see how we do the fairway finders soon. But my favorite sleeper is Emiliano Grillo. Kind of similar to Cam
Uh-huh.
Davis. He's been one of the most consistent players on tour at the moment. 4 top 20s in his last 5 strokes. Four. I'm gonna restart that. Emiliano Grillo is my favorite sleeper. One of the most consistent players on tour. 4 top 20s in his last 5 starts. He lost strokes off the tee for the first time since the PGA Championship in May. So similar to Hovland, I doubt that happens again. Hopefully, and his approach play has been above average these last couple of weeks. So I like him to keep his form, stay pretty steady. And as you kind of said, like, it'll be interesting to see how these players kind of attack a no-cut top 50 event for players that have to sneak into top 30 for the Tour Championship because, as we said, these purses are pretty massive compared to even last year, too, when they were massive, too. So Grillo is my favorite sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two that we like personally. And I think I know that people are asking, what is up with? I know up with me, but we'll get into me. But fairway finder update, 2 L's for the boys that weren't even close. Like I didn't even bring a sweat. I knew they were over by Friday afternoon, but I had Hatton over Xander, and what was yours, Ethan?
Straka top 30 and to finish sixth. No, this is the best part. He shot, I think, not the best, but arguably one of the better rounds of the day on Sunday to bring himself from solo 70th to 63rd. Congratulations.
That could have been
So
some decent movement in the standings, but um,
you
it's
got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. I was on a hot streak, but you got to figure it out.
it's like what sucks is that I tried to. So I actually did this for the people. So instead of taking a finishing position where you can't fade, I took a matchup so people could fade me.
Oh, so you're okay. Noted. and they made money off you this week. So
Yeah, all like one person, maybe you, maybe you were the one. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna put my hand up, honestly, with the Straka bet because I you texted me that you posted the Straka bet, and I didn't see it, and then I said, "What was your?" And then I asked, "What was it?" And I felt like I disrespected you, and I was probably so I put my hand up. I'm gonna take 20% of the blame. I've been betting
you want to do?
your so you've been making me money, making me back money on my fairway finders. So
You're welcome. You're welcome.
um, I'm gonna put my hand up. That's bad vibes. We're positive vibes. Positive vibes. Patrick McDonald. We're staying positive with the positivity parlay.
Hmm.
So we both look to bounce back. I was trying to look on DraftKings at odds, and I went to their website, and it says that they're doing load management on their book. So
Guess
I
that's a tomorrow thing.
yeah. So it's hard. I mean, it's hard to bet no cut events. That's why I kind of don't like no cut events because a lot of like the betting I do is like top 40s, kind of take like these like sleepers to finish top 40.
Mm.
And if they're 70, only 70 players, then like you can't really bet finishing position besides like top 20 and top 10s, which I feel like there's not really much value besides like I guess like the sleepers get great value, but I'm not going to bet like Cam Davis or like something like that, like plus 400. I like to kind of
Yeah,
keep it even. So like just so.
yeah.
But we are. I guess one last thing is this is our little press conference before the Barstool Classic in a couple hours. How are you feeling? Ethan did a little course preview for myself, which I fell asleep watching and reading. So he really bored me out last night. But
Jeez.
let's just quickly before we hop off, let me know how you feeling and any other comments before we hop off.
I'm feeling absolutely amazing. That's it. No words said. Let's have a day.
Let's have a day.
Let's do it. And I guess with that, we'll stop it here. So thank you everyone out there for listening. Um, and yeah, we will stay tuned to all the social medias. You will see how today turned out, and then let's look forward to a great week at the BMW.
Yep, I'll be tracking. So.